Here we go. We are live. And my friends, huge news. The 101 short lessons for an anxiety-free life is out. And I'm so grateful to say that it is a best seller in the new release section already for anxiety and phobia. So I'm very, very grateful for your interest in this book, as well as taking the time to leave a rating, a review. And I'm just so excited for you to pick up this book. And I'm pumped. I'm pumped. And thank you for all your support. And we're on YouTube. We're also on Instagram. So you may see me going like this and like this. And we're kind of going back and forth. Just comment below and let me know that you can hear me for this launch of the brand new book, my friends. Have you picked it up yet? And have you started reading it? Let me know in the comments section. And can you hear me? Comment below. Let me know. Michael, how are you? Good to see you. I am going to leave a little thing here on YouTube with a link to the book. Lorraine says, yes, I can be heard. That's always good. And I want to answer some questions from you today. Any questions you may have. I want to go in depth on how to read this book, because if you've picked up the book or going to pick up the book, it's essential that you read it properly. So there's going to be some instructions there, right? Let's see here. Awesome. And when you pick up this book, 101 Short Lessons for an Anxiety-Free Life on Amazon, when you pick it up, right now I'm doing a bit of a promo. If you leave a rate and review on there and send me a screenshot of it to endtheanxiety@gmail.com, endtheanxiety@gmail.com with a screenshot of the rating and review on Amazon, I am going to send you back the intro program for End the Anxiety. End the Anxiety intro program coming to you, directly to you, after a screenshot to endtheanxiety@gmail.com. So take advantage of that today. It's a wonderful program, and it goes very well with the book. So pick that up. And my friends, yeah, Amazon says that it's in an age group for teenage people, which I'm trying to figure out. I've already changed that, but anyone can read it. Anyone can read it. Anyone can read any of my books. So if that's still there, then shame on you, Amazon. And yeah, I know you're jealous. I know you're jealous of my mug. I know. Harry Potter fans out there. Let's go. Coming to New York, Michael, not on the schedule, unfortunately. But we're getting close. We're getting close. 3 ways to read this book. Number 1 is you can read 101 Short Lessons for an Anxiety-Free Life directly through. You can just read it all, okay? And, with a sit down or a couple sit downs, it's totally up to you. However, there are 2 other ways to read this book. The second way to read this book is on a daily basis, because you're getting 101 short lessons, and these will compound. When you read one short lesson, it's going to affect you in a positive way for that day. And the next day, when you read another lesson, it's going to compound and compound and compound and compound. And all these more than anxiety moments, these moments of clarity, are going to come from a place of real deep wisdom and instruction, and it will embed into your mental, emotional, and physical behavioral patterns after some time. So I would recommend that you can read it all in one go, that's fine. But the second time around, you can either do it this way, where you do it one day at a time. One lesson, one day. One lesson, one day. One lesson, one day. And there you go, right? Then there's a third way to read this book. And the third way is intuitively, right? Intuitively. You kind of set an intention, an intuitive intention, and you say, I would like to be guided towards the right sort of guidance from this book today. And you start that in the morning. Send me to the chapter, the pages, the information that I need to learn today to eliminate, not only eliminate, but eliminate anxiety and to find my true self once again. Then open up the book. You've got that chapter there, right? And go with the instructions in that lesson. So that's a third way to read the book. Again, you can read it fully. You can read one chapter per day in the morning, or you can intuitively open it up. You're at a chapter, get the instructions for that chapter, take on the day with those instructions. So this isn't just any book. This is a book that is literally going to guide you on how to approach the situations that you encounter throughout the day that may bring on a certain degree of anxiety in your life. It's going to help you internally. This book is going to help you internally, where you're going to really start to become the witness of your intrusive thoughts, the witness of your bodily sensations and symptoms, the witness of your emotional states fluctuating here, there, and everywhere. It's also going to help you externally deal with certain situations that you may be provoked into anxiety, right? So this book is very helpful in those ways. And I also want to stress that this book is for people that feel a high degree of sensitivity right now, right? A high degree of sensitivity, meaning you're sensitive to a group of people. You're sensitive when you go to the mall. You're sensitive to loud noises. You're sensitive to certain bright lights. You're sensitive to certain bright colors. And when you're a sensitive person, yes, there is a big component there in regards to the childhood environment that you grew up in and the experiences that you had that contributed to this sensitivity. But it's also very, very important that you understand that the way you deal with those present moment experiences when you feel like you are, experiencing a high degree of sensitivity and anxiety is very important, right? So this book will really help you, and I'm really excited. I want to get into some questions here. So on Instagram, if you have any questions, go for it. On YouTube, if you have any questions, go for it. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Question from M. Dot says, maybe a stupid question. Are your book also for people that are atheists and not spiritual? Absolutely. Absolutely. What you're going to find in the last couple books is that there is a touch of spiritual content there, right? However, it's not enough to pull you in the direction of, hey, you've got to adopt some level of spirituality in your life. So the books are practical. This book is very practical. Okay, this book is about dealing with the root causes of the anxiety and also providing you lessons that you're not aware of right now, right? Bringing to your conscious awareness things that you've been unconscious about for too long that have been causing you to experience such a deep level of anxiety in mind and in body. So absolutely, this book is for atheists as much as it is for spiritual individuals. And yes, 100%. Dizzy, aka Triple X Stars, can you upload more videos about dealing with sensations when you are going outside? There are a number of those podcasts as well as videos right now But I will continue to work on those, absolutely, because that's a big component. BBC 2000, yes, Amazon says it's for 12 to 18-year-olds. It is for adults. Yes, I've reached out to them. I've changed that. This is not for 12 to 18-year-olds. As much as it is, it can be, right? But it's for us. So please don't worry about what that says. It's right in line with my other books. So yeah, that hopefully will change soon. I've reached out to them. Let's see here. The book will help with OCD and health anxiety, Carol Lewis, because OCD and health anxiety are front and center for me, because I'm coming from a place of having healed such experiences and challenges. So when I do write these books, there's always a component of health anxiety in there. And yes, it will help you in that regard as well, for sure. Cheyenne, how are you, Cheyenne? Good to see you. What should I do regarding the anxiety that comes from the things not going my way? I have some plans for myself, but they don't come into fruition. So if something doesn't go your way, it goes the divine's way. And I don't say that because I'm pulling you into spiritual this or religion that. It's important that you trust that when something doesn't go your way, there's a lesson in that, and there's a bigger picture that you're not aware of right now that you will become aware of in the future. Therefore, you must allow these things to occur the way they are, because so much of needing things to be our way is just going to cause more anxiety for you. So if it doesn't go your way, look at the bigger picture and allow things to unfold the way they do, right? And come at it from a place of lesson learned and allowance. And soon you're going to realize why these things happen this way, right? Pamela says, hi, everyone. Hi. Charles says, hey, Pam. Let's see here. Instagram. Yeah, the book touches on the insomnia. Yes, the book will touch on insomnia, but for insomnia specifically, pick up F Coping, Start Healing. YouTube, let's see here. Do we need to read the other books before starting this book? No, Charles, you do not, because this is a book that compiles experiences, external and internal experiences that lead to more of a sensitized and anxious state. Therefore, the moment you start reading the very first lesson, you're going to realize things that you didn't realize before. And it's a great starter book, but it's also a great book if you have already read a few of my books already, or any, mental health or emotional distress or childhood trauma type books in the past. This is just a really good book for your collection and the way you read it, as I mentioned in the beginning, right? The way you read it. So that's cool. Let's see here. R91 Motors. Dennis, can you talk about setbacks and fatigue? Many thanks. Yes. Chronic fatigue syndrome. And I'm talking about the people that are experiencing this level of fatigue, which I touch on in the book, by the way, 101 Short Lessons for an Anxiety-Free Life, because I touch on it because this is one of those components that I feel like when you heal the chronic fatigue, then you heal the anxiety. So with the fatigue, there are three very important things that you have to focus on. Okay? And you may be aware of these, you may be not aware of these. But with the fatigue that accompanies the anxiety, number one, rest. And when I mean rest, you must feel like you're resting mentally, you must feel like you're resting emotionally, and you must feel like you're resting physically. Okay, so rest is very, very important, because anxiety people are doers. We like to get the job done. We like to shoot for certain outcomes. We have goals, desires. We're hard workers. We're sensitives in the way where we like to understand other people's feelings and what they're going through. We like to be there for other people. So in those ways, it can create a lot of fatigue. Now, number one is rest. Number two is sleep. Your sleep is very, very important, right? Same sleep time every night, right? Without compromise. And if you can take a nap in the daytime, great. And thirdly, diet. Okay, when it comes to the fatigue, we're talking about rest, we're talking about sleep, we're talking about diet. And when you clean up the diet, especially the sugar and salt, cycles that so many people are going through right now, and you cut those out completely, and you start to replace those with wholesome foods, and you're going to find that in time your body will respond accordingly along with your mind. So these are the three components to the fatigue and the chronic fatigue. And I'm telling you, if there's people around you that don't currently understand your fatigue or aren't as supportive as you want them to be, then don't be distressed, because so much of this healing, whether it's anxiety or fatigue or any element of the anxiety, has to be done by you anyway. So, just make sure that you're really gentle and compassionate towards yourself, and you're not getting caught up in things like setbacks. A setback is simply an experience where you pass your threshold. That's what a setback is. A setback is there to tell you, hey, you went too far, right? You mentally went too far because this particular thought has been given too much emotional investment, and you're going to experience a certain setback in the form of physical or emotional, right? So thank you, mental side, for letting me know that I've crossed my threshold. That's the way we want to deal with these setbacks. Emotionally, you're too high and too low. So we live in a world where there's a dopamine addiction, and we want to be aware of such things. Maybe as you're going about the day, you're always looking for things that are excitable. Okay, so if you're always looking for things that are excitable, then your system is working very, very hard, right? And then you have those lows. So you're always crashing. You're going high and you're going low. So thank you, setback, for letting me know that I'm on the emotional roller coaster. And through this setback, I have learned a valuable lesson. Or it could be daily tasks and such, where you're just pushing beyond your physical threshold. So if you're dealing with setbacks, you just have to understand at that point. And once you respond to the setbacks in this way, where you go, thank you for letting me know that I've passed my threshold, now that's a valuable lesson. That goes straight into your journal. And when it goes straight into your journal, these sorts of moments of clarity and more than anxiety moments will start to add up. Next thing you know, you don't even know what the word setback means, right? And that's true healing. And true healing comes in the form of no longer clinging on to, right? We're no longer clinging on to, I really want to feel this way. We're no longer clinging on to, I want these symptoms to go away. If only this would happen, then, I can start to live my life creatively. I can start to be gentle and compassionate, and I can meet with inner peace. No, you can meet with inner peace in the face of those sensations. You can meet with inner peace while experiencing the intrusive ideas, while experiencing the emotions that you don't want to experience, right? You can have all of that, right? You can have all of that. And that's something to really understand, because so many anxiety sufferers are waiting for a particular day in order for them to reconnect with their true self. And when I mean reconnect with a true self, I'm talking about that part of you that is already peaceful. Okay. So I hope I touched on that. Let me know. Setbacks, fatigue, very key, very key. Instagram, good to see you all. Again, we're talking about the launch, 101 short lessons for an anxiety-free life. Thank you for making it #1 new release in anxieties and phobias. Thank you so much on Amazon. And if you haven't picked it up yet, please pick it up on ebook, or paperback has come out as well. But thank you for that as well. Promo, take a screenshot of your rating and review, send it to endtheanxiety@gmail.com, and I will send you an accompanying program that will go hand in hand with that book. And it's powerful stuff. Let's see here. Oh, we're going fast. But cheers, Zed. Hello, Dennis. My main symptom was shortness of breath and chest tightness. What does it mean spiritually? Ooh, I love spiritual questions. I'll be honest with you. And stay tuned. There's something very exciting coming for the more spiritual crowd out there. So shortness of breath, chest tightness. Well, from a spiritual standpoint, shortness of breath. Well, I think that, when you think about these things, you really have to see them as signs that you're in some way, there's no harmony within, the balance is off, right? So when it comes to shortness of breath, I truly believe that, from a metaphorical stance, it's kind of like you're rushing too much. Okay. Number one, you're rushing too much. And number two, the outcomes that you really want to occur in your life are not happening. And therefore, because they're not happening, you're in a frantic state. Chest tightness comes down to a lot of suppressed anger from a lot of people that I've worked with, right? But from a spiritual standpoint, I would just say that you're rushing through life. You're not allowing yourself to go through life at the speed that you're supposed to find harmony and cooperation with everything within life, right? You're trying to go at your own speed, and you're paying the price, a physical price for that. So what you want to do is you want to reflect on this, and you want to say, am I pushing life to give me what I demand and what I desire? And if that's the case, then I'm going to pull that back a bit, and I'm going to rethink some of the goals and some of the timelines that I have for some of my goals and desires, right? So you are pushing too fast, too hard, and the experience of that is physical. There's a shortness of breath going on, right? There's a lot of rushing. And also pay attention to how fast you do things throughout the day. And when I mean doing things, it's also about how quickly you go to the bathroom, right? How quickly you shower, how quickly you put your clothes on, how quickly you talk. And it's very important that you understand that impatience is an ego-driven habit. It's a lower self-driven habit. We are not impatient people. However, if we feel like we're running out of time, which can provoke a lot of anxiety, I have to do 1,000,001 things today, or else it's not a good day, right? I have to be there for everybody today. Well, are you there for yourself, right? These are very important points to pay attention to, because when you do take a step back and realize that you can allow life to unfold at a certain pace and go with life at a certain pace, some of the things that you want to occur don't really occur right away, but they happen later on. And the other thing that's interesting, specifically with anxiety recovery, is that anxiety recovery tends to show up in a way where you never expected it to, right? That you never expected it to. And that's something to keep in the back of your mind. That's something to keep in the back of your mind. Let's see here. I hope that helps, by the way. Pamela, I feel I have no purpose. Well, here's the truth. You're actually, when people say, Dennis, I feel like I don't have a purpose, you're actually living out your purpose right now through getting to, it's kind of like going through, as one of my mentors, Daniel, who might be here, has said, that when you're going through the tunnel and there's the light at the end of the tunnel, The light at the end of the tunnel is not the illusion, but the tunnel is the illusion. So when it comes to your purpose, you're living it out by not, I don't want to use the word defying, but we'll use the word defying your anxiety and getting to a better place. That is the purpose. What other purpose can there be? Right? Because once you overcome an anxiety disorder in the way that we are as a group, I don't think you realize some of the experiences that come to you. You know, when we talk about service towards other people and giving back, that can only come after you've gotten yourself to a better place internally. After you finally remove the layers of fear or irrational fear, and you remove all those layers, and you start bringing out your true self again. And people are going to start looking at you funny and going, well, what's wrong with this guy? Or what's wrong with that girl? All right? I was sitting at a cafe today, and no phone, no computer, right? Nothing. Sitting there and daydreaming, looking at the trees. There are a few trees here in Dubai. And I'm looking at the trees and I'm just taking in the present moment. That's it. And I know it crossed people's minds where, oh, this guy isn't doing anything, right? Well, to you, it may look like I'm not doing anything, but I actually am. Your true purpose is to defy the anxiety and is to continue to go through the tunnel that you're in and get out on the other side full of light and full of wisdom, full of knowledge, right? And fully equipped to take on more of life's challenges that are on the way, right? And that's really your purpose. I truly believe that in my heart. I hope that helps. Let's see here. Charlie, you are very, very welcome. I'm glad the words touch you in some way. That's great. Pamela, you're very welcome. And just want to say one more thing, that you don't have to do this in one day. Anxiety sufferers get to a point where they start to become so very impatient, and I get it. I get it. Dealing with the symptoms every day is not easy. Dealing with the intrusive thoughts, the emotional fluctuations is not easy. All you want to do is leave this behind you once and for all. And one of your best friends along this anxiety healing journey is time. Give it time, give it more time. After that, give it more time. Because you've been stuck in a pattern that you've been unaware of for months and years and years from childhood. Traumas, experiences, mirroring your authority figures, mom and dad, this and that. So many patterns and habits that you adopted, you unconsciously strengthened. And here you are experiencing the effects of all of those causes. And because that's the case, this is a good time for you. It's a good time for you. When you look at the anxieties, when you look at the struggles, you want to say thank you. You want to get to that point. Thank you for allowing me to learn, for allowing me to climb one step at a time on this ladder of healing. Okay? Time is your best friend. Trust me. Okay? You're all going to get through this, just as I have. Right? Comment below if you've already picked up the book. 101, Short Lessons for an Anxiety-Free Life. As I mentioned, 3 ways to read it. 1, read the whole thing. 2, read a chapter a day in the morning. Take that knowledge, take that guidance, and input it into your day. And 3, intuitively, right? Open up the book at a certain chapter that speaks to you. Take the guidance and take that with you throughout the day, okay? Kelly, hi Dennis. Is the book set up more like a daily devotional or a group of short stories? Not short stories, Kelly, but more so short pieces of feedback in regards to things that cause anxiety that we're unaware of. And these are things that throughout the book, you're going to realize that there are things that consciously and unconsciously are contributing to the sensitivity and anxiety. And so I want to bring those things to light. I want to bring those things to your awareness through this book. And as you read it each and every day, you're going to find strength in it. Okay? You're going to find the book to be your guide. I mean, think about it. When you, as an anxiety person, right? We feel like we should read as many books as we can, as quickly as we can, to find the holy grail that will take the anxiety away once and for all. Comment below if that sounds like you. That's called the addiction to suffering. Okay? And at that speed, you cannot heal. Now, what this book does is it says, let's take a few steps back. Let's read a page a day, which is pretty much what the short lessons are, about a page a day. Can you imagine rewiring yourself to believe that the contents in that one page can actually contribute more to your anxiety healing than reading an entire book in 2 days? You know, when you can fully adopt this mindset, all I need is this one page from 101 short lessons for an anxiety-free life. I just need this page. I'm putting my faith, I'm putting my trust into this page to guide me towards what I need to understand today. And you take those instructions, and maybe you're going to feel disappointment from the inner child or the ego, and that's fine. The inner child is usually disappointed, right? Usually telling you you're not doing enough, you're not being enough, you're not speaking enough, you're not healing quick enough, you're not learning enough, right? You haven't accomplished enough in your life. This is all coming from the lower self. It's all coming from that inner child that feels like he or she is just not enough. And it doesn't matter how much you do or how much you learn or how much progress you make over anxiety, that inner child is never satisfied and always opportunistic, looking for the next way to put fear into your heart. That's what the lower self or inner child has been programmed to do, right, at a subconscious level, to put fear into your heart. So anytime you want to do something new or change your identity or change a belief system, you get all these moments of resistance. And the inner child goes, no, we can't do that because we don't have the support. No, we can't do that because because it's not the right season, right? You're too old. You struggled for too long. You're too old, right? And this is all coming from a place that holds no particular truth. And once you get to that place, and this book is going to get you to that place where you finally realize that all of those unconscious thoughts, all of the symptoms, all the emotions, you were the one all along that kept those things alive. You were the one. You were worried about them. You thought that because an intrusive thought shows up, that it is the truth, that you have to follow that intrusive thought. No. As I mentioned to the members in the Health Anxiety University, an intrusive thought, an anxiety symptom, is asking you what we should think, not telling you what to think. That's a more than anxiety moment right there. Take a moment, take that in. Your symptoms and intrusive thoughts are telling you how to perceive, what to think, not telling you what it wants you to think. So when you get a symptom, it's not about falling in line with what the symptom is trying to tell you. It's asking you a question, right? What is the name of the book? 101 Short Lessons for an Anxiety-Free Life. Now out on Amazon. The link is right here, guys. Did I pin it? Did I pin this? I didn't. I'm pinning the message on, there you go, on YouTube. A couple of you have been asking. There you go. There's the link to the book. And like I mentioned, post a rating and review. Send me a screenshot to endtheanxiety@gmail.com, and I will send you an intro program that goes hand in hand with this book. Okay. And that's it. And no looking back. No looking back. Full steam ahead. Let's see. Joseph, how are you? Let's take a nice deep breath in, guys, everybody. It feels so good. Let's do a few more. That's it. Take your time. Take your time. Let's see here. Jenny. Oh, you are so very welcome. You are so very welcome. 7 months into recovering from panic disorder and agoraphobia. Well done, my dear. Amazing. Rebecca picked up on the mug. Yes, yes, yes. That she would. That she would. I know, you're jealous. I know. Look at that. Look at that beauty. Such a dork. Oh, literally. I must drive Robin crazy. I go to the mall, and first thing I do is go into the Harry Potter store. Alrighty. I'm looking for a question here. Let's see. Pamela, for sure. I have trouble doing imagery work. I've been trying for a couple of weeks, but just can't get it. So I'm having a hard time doing reframing. Okay, so Pamela's talking about emotional reframing. I did dedicate it to my son. Thank you for bringing that up. Emotional reframing can be used for past experiences and traumas, but it can also be used for future experiences. Okay, so if you're about to have an experience in the future that you feel very anxious and sensitive towards, there are reframing practices. I'm big on imagery and somatic work. On my YouTube channel, you can look up Future Reframe. And Pamela, when it comes to the actual vividness of the imagination and the pictures and the movies that you're running in your head, do not get caught up in how vivid the images are when you're doing reframing work, because through your intention, your subconscious mind is already getting the message, Pamela. So as you're going through the experience and you're reframing something, right, the harder you try, right, the more pushback will happen from the subconscious standpoint. So instead, you just want to do the best you can. Maybe an image shows up here or there, maybe a color, that's good enough, right? Sometimes when you cannot imagine things at all and it's just blackness, the blackness means something as well, right? So the blackness is there as possibly a fear of picturing something, of going back to a particular experience, right? Or, like if you're about to go into an experience in the future and you're usually anxious about it, and now you're future reframing it, which you can do on YouTube. Now there might be blackness because you've created a habit of anxiousness around that experience. So now the deeper part of you doesn't really want to reframe it because of safety reasons. But in essence, Pamela, don't get caught up in the vividness of the images. Just continue to do what you're doing. Put your heart into it. Your subconscious mind will get the message through your intention. Okay. Barbara from Barbados. Love you. Love you too. Love you too. I do. Let's see. Instagramio. Morning, Shelly Lynn, 81. I'm 80. You're 81. Another tough morning. I'm sorry to hear that. And trying to figure out the balance between accept and not fighting, but also recognizing I have control. It's hard. Now, Shelly, YouTube, surrender sessions. Each morning, start your day with the surrender session, which is going to contribute to the proper mindset in regards to those things that are causing a tough morning. Most of the time when we wake up in the morning, there's this off balance feeling. You've got the cortisol, and you've got the adrenaline, and all of these things are happening in the morning. And you get this feeling of urgency. Okay? Now, this is important to listen to. When you have that moment of urgency, and we are trying to fight for calmness, there's conflict, right? So we don't want conflict. The feeling of urgency accompanies us in the morning. We want to feel more relaxed, and boom, it's like, two cars, full speed, going at each other. One's trying to push the other. Instead, right, you want to get to a particular point in your life where, hey, Matthew, how are you? Where you finally adopt the perspective of non-preference. You no longer have a preference, Shelley. You don't prefer to feel better. You don't prefer to feel good or joyful or happy. Okay. And in that point, you no longer can be disappointed by the things that are showing up in mind and body. Now, from that place where you don't have a preference anymore, now you have choice. Okay. So you wake up in the morning, you're doing the surrender session, and you've adopted the mindset of, if my symptoms want to come with me, they can come with me. If my intrusive thoughts want to come with me, they can come with me. I know that I'm the one that feeds into them, right? I'm the one that keeps them alive, right? And when you think about the anxieties, when you get to that clear place of really understanding that you're the one that's feeding into them, and we feed them through focus, and focus is energy, right? So we're feeding them through our energy. We're feeding them through branching from one idea to the next. We're getting to a point where we're allowing anxiety to guide our decision making and how we do things and how we live our life. But those surrender sessions are going to get you to a place where you go, come on, right? Oh, I got a headache. All right, come on, headache. Let's go. We're going to work, right? And I know a lot of people are thinking, well, that's impossible for me right now, because you're thinking about it in the way of, I have to do it right now. You see, again, it's the lower self or the inner child that's deciding your decision making. From this point forward, your decisions are made from a different place. And the only way for you to get to that new place is when you get to a point in your life where you no longer have a preference. I prefer this symptom to go away. No. If it's going to be there, it's going to be there. If it's not, that's fine. If it's there, it's fine. Thank you, my sexy bald head. Shaved it this morning for you. And so that's what the surrender sessions will do. Now, I also want to express this, right? Is when you get to a point where there are certain relationships from the past and experiences from the past that continue to relive in the present. So, such as you've got suppressed anger towards mother or father, and you know it's there, but you just can't find a way, or you just can't move beyond it, right? That's when you go into the emotional reframing work. Because when you do somatic work with imagery, most of the time it tends to go away. You tend to get to a place of forgiveness. And forgiveness is not forgetfulness, it's not forgetting. It's just saying, I forgive you for my own sake. I don't forgive you because it's okay what you did. Okay, this is for everybody. Everybody here has someone that they need to forgive. Every single person. And that person, that lack of forgiveness is contributing to your anxiety indirectly, meaning your anger is being taken out on somebody else. Your irritability is showing up in the most random moments, right? Everyone here still has someone they need to forgive. And we don't do it logically. I forgive you, right? We don't do it that way. Okay? We do it in a way where we feel like there's, and this is key, emotional investment in the forgiveness. Nothing changes until you have a high degree of emotions accompanying that new direction. So if you're there trying to cognitively think and figure out your way past this anxiety stuff, then you're going to be thinking forever. You're like a dog chasing its tail. See, Allison, you can forgive yourself. If it's you that needs forgiveness, you can forgive yourself. However, the inner child or the lower self is putting up blocks in relation to why you shouldn't or can't forgive yourself. Again, notice that so many of the comments and the responses in today's world are coming from the wrong place. They're coming from a place of franticness. Let me ask you this. Have you gotten to a place in your life where you can finally differentiate? You can differentiate an idea coming from your lower self compared to an idea coming from your higher self. Higher self, subtle, intuitive. Lower self, loud, 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 right? Feels like it knows everything. Feels like it can predict your future all the time. Feels like it's always right. That's the lower self. That's your inner child. Where are you getting your information from? Whose ideas are directing you? Because all of this comes down to patterns and habits. Trust me on this, right? When you start to deny one and become emotionally invested in the other, that one's going to start leading you. Stop laughing at my mug. It's my mug. As a sidebar, I'll get you one, Matt. I'll get you one. As a side note, please look up for the forgiveness aspect. I don't know how we got here, but for the forgiveness part, look up chair coaching anxiety guy on YouTube. And do that every day with the person that needs forgiveness, okay? And see where that brings you next. Evie Mateo, you are very welcome. Golap, you're very welcome. Joshua, you had a setback and I helped you through it. Well, that's good. That's good. Dusika. Oh, quick reminder again. 101 short lessons for an anxiety-free life. Out now on Amazon. Currently #1 on the new release for anxiety and phobias. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it for everybody who has purchased and currently going through the book. It's going to help you. I really believe it will. As well, send me a screenshot of your rating and review for that book to endtheanxiety@gmail.com. I will send you my intro program to accompany that book. endtheanxiety@gmail.com. Screenshot of your rating and review. Okay. And you will receive the accompanying intro program. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, well, brain fog, that's a good one. Marjim Majed. I had brain fog for a number of years, and I know a lot of people have brain fog. Well, let's look at brain fog for a second, okay? So why does the brain feel foggy? Well, the brain feels very foggy because this, if you think about it from a survival perspective, right? The brain fog is there to prevent you from seeing the big picture. A lot of people with brain fog are very narrow-minded, and they don't allow themselves to be flexible in the way they see things. Okay, so I'm going to start here with the brain fog. When your flexibility improves in terms of, because when I used to experience the brain fog, I thought I knew everything. Right? I thought, oh, it's my way, and this is the correct way, and that's the only way. And that level of narrow-mindedness does not allow for the fog to lift. Okay? So #1 thing with brain fog is you have to start becoming more flexible in the way you perceive things and the way you listen to other people in an open manner. #2 is, and again, it's a sign that you have passed your emotional threshold. The brain fog is there to keep you safe from further traumatic experiences. Because what is the fog doing? Well, the fog is kind of keeping you in this hazy place. The fog accompanies depersonalization, right? The brain fog accompanies double vision and dizziness and a lack of short-term memory and all of these things. And all of these things are a survival response saying, we can't continue to experience life at the same traumatic degree that we have in the past. Now, because that's the case, your best friend for this is rest, is sleep, self-compassion, and surrender sessions on YouTube. Notice how I plugged that in, right? So those are the things. And those will help you if you take them seriously and work on them militantly. I want you all to think about the anxiety in a way where you don't have that much wiggle room, right? Anxiety is forcing you to live in a way that you've never lived before. Okay? Anxiety is there to tell you that you have been chosen, okay, to become someone that is different from the everyday person that you see around you on a daily basis. Because once you've healed the anxiety disorder, a lot of things start to change internally, externally, right? Yeah, you're very welcome. Just take those suggestions seriously and start implementing them, really. I know a couple people said muscle twitching too, right? But we can touch on those if you would like to ask those questions. But anxiety is there to guide you towards living your life differently. For so many years, you've pushed very hard. I know I used to. You've taken things very seriously, and there has been no fun in your life. There's been no lightness in your life. There's been no playfulness in your life. And that affects your breathing. Next thing you know, you're shallow breathing. That becomes a pattern and a habit. Then all these other symptoms start showing up. The interesting thing is with these symptoms is they have a very unique character to them. Right? Characteristically, they're very interesting because one symptom will stick around until we've made peace with it. And once we've made peace with that symptom, the inner child or lower self will find another symptom to try to provoke you back into fear. Okay? Because that's what it is, trying to keep you protected from new experiences, from taking on too much or speaking your truth or being expressive. Okay? And so these sorts of symptoms that come and go need to be seen as a form of protection. Thank you so much, lower self, for protecting me. You can stick around if you want in terms of symptoms, but I've got this thing I have to do now. And it's not that I'm ignoring you. I'm coming from a loving and compassionate place. I'm not trying to get rid of you. I don't hate you, right? And now what you're doing is you're creating a new relationship with your symptoms. If you're creating a new relationship with your symptoms, you're also creating a new relationship with your lower self or your subconscious side. And once that relationship starts to be joined up, starts to harmonize, now the symptoms, there's no longer a reason for them. And there's no longer a reason for that old identity around irrational fear. Because even death brings up curiosity rather than pain. Because you can look at your symptoms from a place of franticness or curiosity. It's completely up to you. Hey, I'm curious about why this symptom is there. Thank you for the message. Right? Thank you. But I've got this thing I have to do now. You do realize that because you've been so internally focused on these symptoms for months and years, that's the reason why they continue to strengthen. And in truth, sometimes it's not that the symptom itself is that strong or it's so out of the blue, but it's simply the fact that you're completely focused on it, right? And you're so fixated on it. And whatever you're fixated on will grow, right? If I'm fixated on a goal that I want to achieve in 6 months from now to write another book, I'll write that book, right? If I'm fixated on the fact that I'm projecting unconditional love towards people that project love back to me or hate me, then that's what it'll be, right? It's your focus plays a leading role in how your life unfolds, right? So with this in mind, how will you begin to see those symptoms? From a place of curiosity or from a place of franticness? Curiosity and higher self are aligned. Franticness and lower self are aligned, okay? And again, you're not going to get this done. This mindset is not going to be ingrained in a day. It's going to take weeks, months, maybe even years. But your job is to enjoy the journey. Say it with me. I'm enjoying the journey of anxiety recovery. And as some of you, I'm in, right? Can sense it. Oh, I've been there. I get it. I understand. Cheers to my mug. because what's interesting, yeah, it's yeah, I think you all know now that it's becoming a lot more obvious that I'm being pulled in a direction that is beyond anxiety. And that's why I'm going to just hint to you that a new podcast is going to show up in the next couple months. And I'm not going to give out the name of that or anything like that, but just know that it's a bit beyond the anxiety, the scope of anxiety. Um, and it does have a spiritual root to it. So if you are already pulled in that direction, then this podcast is going to be for you. I don't know when it's going to come out, but we'll see. Um, yes, very difficult, very difficult, very difficult. Yeah. But it can also be very easy. Um, right? We don't want to kind of just focus in on one way of seeing recovery, because if that's the case, then that'll be your reality, won't it? Right? Oh, you're very welcome, Aniti. Yeah, very welcome. Let's see here. Just bought your book. Thank you, Young Stork. Awesome. My best tip for housebound agoraphobia. Okay, so go on YouTube. There are two things. Go on YouTube, look up future reframe. And when you do the future reframe anxiety guy, when you do that imagery practice, focus on the agoraphobia. Okay, that's your main focus and why you're doing it. Now, continue to do that regularly. And number two, bucket listing. So I'd like you to create 15 steps, starting with the very first step. And the very first step could be looking out your window. The next step could be sitting on your staircase outside. The third step could be going to your backyard. The fourth step could be taking out the trash just outside. The fifth step could be walking to the church, a few steps outside of your door. Fifth step could be walking a block. So this is bucket listing where we chunk it down. Okay, so those are the two things that you want to do. Number one, future reframe, imagery practice on YouTube. And number two, bucket listing. You want to create those 15 steps. Till you get to the 15th step, which is basically I'm functional again. I'm doing things outside of my fear-centered agoraphobia. Oh, thank you. Congratulations on another book. Yeah, very, very grateful for this one. It's a unique book, and it's for the people out there that think that reading an entire book in a day will actually get them to healing. It won't. Rarely. Okay. And it's a short lesson per day. And I hope that you would take the lesson per day and add that to your mindset and the practicalities of the day. And no, ask another question. Absolutely. Yeah. 101. 101 short lessons. Whoops. 101 short lessons for an anxiety-free life. Enjoy it, my friends. Out now on Amazon. Oh, that's nice. Learned a lot from you, and now I want to help other people very much. Absolutely. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's about. Garns 123, hi to you as well. Yes. Let's see here. Well, it was nice hanging out. I'll take one or two more questions, sure. Anthony, it's nice to see you too, my friend. How you doing? How you doing lately? Margie Majed, I need a trick to deal with extreme anxiety caused by public speech. Okay. A trick. Well, do you want a trick or do you want a solution? Because I have both, right? There are, when I think about tricks, I think about some NLP techniques that we can use for this. But one of the most important things is to with the public speaking. For me, it really comes down to mindset more than any kind of skill set. The mindset going into the public speaking for most people, which is, I think it's in the top two of the most fearful things that people are afraid of doing. I think, yeah, it's right up there. But in terms of mindset, we have to think about, okay, what are the things that keep me anxious when it comes to public speaking? Well, one is the pressure of speaking. It's basically you're in a place where you think that people will overly judge each word that you say, that people are there to kind of rip apart your speech and to see you in a way of competitiveness. Okay. So, in truth, your mindset going in is one of cooperation. Okay. And when it comes to mindset, we need to truly understand that those people are there to grab something from you, are there for cooperation reasons rather than competitive reasons. And so, because that's the case, we can take the pressure off a little bit and we can start to say, well, there's no longer so much pressure put on every word that I say. So when you look at those people, and you want to rehearse this before you go public speaking, okay, you want to rehearse this in your mind in an imaginative sense. Again, I'll direct you to the Future Reframe anxiety guy on YouTube. That practice will help a lot for the public speaking. But in terms of mindset, you're coming at it from a place of love rather than competition. Okay, you're coming at it from a place of giving back rather than them looking to take something, right? Take away. So as long as we get the mindset right and move from competition to cooperation, then you're going to see that all those people are there to help you. They're not there to harm you. They're not there to hurt you. They're not there to overly judge you. They're already too concerned about themselves to worry about you. So those are kind of some of the things that I would focus on. Now, let me give you one more thing in terms of public speaking. When you think about public speaking or any experience that makes you feel anxious and nervous, you can always use your magic circle. Now, you just close your eyes and you imagine that you're going to be saying your speech in a particular place, right? And you imagine that there is a circle there, and it's a magical circle, right? And it's got a sound to it, a sound, very healing sound, very relaxing sound. When you step into that circle, the words just flow out of you like a river, right? And you want to imagine that you're stepping into that circle and you're giving your speech, and it's absolutely flawless, and it's cooperative, and it's loving, and you can notice that there's no pressure. And then you open up your eyes. And then before you go and give that speech, you can bring your magic circle with you. If you're going to go to work, you bring your magic circle with you. First, you imagine being in the magic circle, going through the experience, right? And then you physically feel like it's there. So these are a couple things. Hello from Romania. Your podcast helped me a lot on my way to recovery. That's great. Awesome. On the right path. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. You bought the book? Excellent. Love it. Oh, you're loving the book. That's great. That's nice to hear. Awesome. Don't forget to leave a rate and review. I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Currently, we're on the #1 new release, so that's cool. Rebecca, the magic circle comes everywhere with me. Yeah. I understand. I do. Okay. Joseph, what helped me build community post anxiety or rebuild relationships? Oh, rebuild relationships? Rebuilding my relationships. Well, one of the things is post anxiety. I didn't really put so much pressure on myself to have those relationships. It's kind of an interesting thing where all the things, including people, friends, and family, that I used to cling on to, that I thought was the main contributor to my lasting peace and happiness, was just a pattern and a thought. So rebuilding relationships kind of came naturally to me when I took the pressure off of I have to rebuild this relationship. Because when you're under the influence of anxiety, you're going to find that your thinking is a lot different than post anxiety. And you start to look back and go, wow, that was different, right? All the things I used to cling on to and all the things that I thought I needed in order to live a peaceful and pleasant life, no, it was all really false, right? And I can now look at it from that perspective and give you my feedback there. So, more than anything, Joseph, it's very important that you get to a point where you start to question some of the beliefs that you hold, because those really aren't your beliefs. Those beliefs are coming from a part of you that is still clinging. And as long as you're a clinger, you're going to continue to experience the addiction to suffering. The moment you stop clinging on to things is when you start to leave the addiction to suffering and you start to move towards things flowing in your life more so than trying to control the inner and the outer experiences in your life, right? So, yeah, yeah. I love you all. I love you, and I love you, and I love you. And 101 Short Lessons for an Anxiety Free Life is now out. Please leave a positive rate and review. I would really appreciate it. And enjoy the book. Take your time with the book. In the beginning, I referenced the best ways to read the book. And I thank you for your support and everything, my friends, to truly make my own dreams and goals come true. And I'm really at a place of such deep gratitude and such connection to people out there that are still suffering and going through some very difficult times. I never want to undercut the challenges that come with anxiety recovery and other types of recovery. So I never want you to feel like that's the case. But I do want to project optimism. I do want to project hope for you moving forward in the coming months and years of your life. And I know that you're going to get to a better place very, very soon. Forward together. And remember, you are more than anxiety. And I look forward to your feedback in the book. Thanks for joining me, everyone. And this live will be up as a post video later. There were some important nuggets there. I think that will also help you very, very much. And if you can, please share it with someone in need, right? Someone else who may need this sort of content. But I'll see you very soon. Bye, my friends. Oh, I know you want to see the mug one last time. I know. There you go. There you go. Bye, everyone. Thanks, Jenny. Appreciate it.